Ah, yay, I did it.
You did. Congratulations.
Old people can figure out technology. Yeah, this is my first time going live, and it's my first video
And
ever, really.
I just told my followers, when technology works, it's great, and when it doesn't, it sucks.
Yes.
So
Yes. Oh, and
I'm just,
I gotta show you my sign. I know it's probably backwards on this, but it's my
girls,
stripper sign.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. So I am going to share with your fans and followers what I just shared with mine.
Okay.
Is that this is Melissa Joy. She is joining us from the West Coast. She is my guest this afternoon on MatureHeaven's podcast. And I love the fact that you and I have chatted already, and our conversation was flawless and no pregnant pauses. So this is amazing. So thank
We
you.
can't get pregnant, so there's no pregnant pauses.
Really? I think I'm a little less capable of that than you are.
No, I'm totally incapable of it as well. So I guess
Oh my God.
sport one for mature ladies. No fear, no more periods, no more fear of pregnancy, right?
And we love it.
That's
So,
right.
Melissa, can you please introduce yourself to my followers as to
Absolutely.
who you are, where you're from?
Yeah. So I'm Melissa Joy. Really, Melissa Merman is my full name, but I'm Melissa Joy here. And where I'm from, I live in Portland, Oregon. Little bit about me. I'm a photographer. I'm a writer, writing my story about getting into sex work at 42, over a decade ago, writing about my experiences going in, coming out under my real name to my family, by writing about it. And let's see, yeah, that's kind of my main thing. And Melissa Joy Dates is, I offer dinner dates now locally in Portland, activity dates, that sort of thing. So it's escorting basically without the sex. So that's one of the things that I'm offering now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to clarify. You're talking about Portland, Oregon,
Yes.
because I live
Not
in
Portland, Maine.
Boston. So
Yes.
my Portland is Portland,
I do
Maine.
know
So
that because I'm from Boston. And when I go back to Boston and I say I came from Portland, nobody bats an eye. And I'm like, the one that's like on the left coast. And they're like, oh, yeah.
exactly, which is why I wanted to clarify for
Yes,
everybody that there's a Portland on either
that's
coast.
right. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, girl.
Yeah.
You said to me today you're going to have your glass of.
So I wasn't feeling well today, so it's just water, but I did get a wine glass. Sorry, I wanted to match you in some way, but after talking to you late last night, I woke up not feeling so well, so it's just
Oh my
water today.
God. And I'm totally sorry if I kept you up overnight,
No,
but it's
no,
like
you totally didn't.
I was like a little chatty Cathy. So, Melissa, I want to
Yeah.
share.
Yeah.
This is a sharing moment. Girl to girl. Have you ever heard of mingle?
No.
Okay. So, when we're all done here, this is a mocktail, not a cocktail. It's called Mingle. They have multiple flavors. This one is a blood orange. They have a margarita. They have a oh, what's the thing with the mint?
Oh, mojito.
That
That's one of
they
my
have mojito,
favorites. Yeah.
but it is all a mocktail. There's no alcohol in it. This is what got me through dry January.
Okay.
Because I tried dry January, but this is really good. It's very light. Um, it gives you the feeling, if you put it in the correct glass, it gives you the feeling that you got a cocktail, but you really don't.
Yeah. I got to try
However,
some of those.
this is Prosecco.
Prosecco, nice. Well, it technically is what, 5:30 your time, so it's perfectly acceptable to drink, right?
5 o'clock somewhere.
Because as they say, right, 5 o'clock somewhere. I mean, it's
Mhm.
only 2:30 here, but so that's why the water.
However, I was making, my photographer is
Yeah,
here. He is operating multiple cameras for me and
yeah.
pushing buttons because I, like you, am not good at that. So this morning I made breakfast and we had mimosas. So we've been doing it all day.
Okay. You have your
Yeah,
own photographer, like
I
that
do.
works. That's so nice. Well, you know, when I'm in Boston, I want to be your photographer. I totally want to film. I want to shoot you. I want to do some beautiful art with you. I can't wait. So Siren Song Photo, that's my other account. I love to work with people in the industry, bringing out their inner beauty. And I think I'm great in the sense that I'm not going to try to fuck you like a lot of male photographers do. It's true. Am I allowed to curse on Instagram Live, by the way? Is that okay? Okay. Well, I don't know
Absolutely.
because you know how uptight they are about everything
Mhm.
else. So I didn't know if they're censoring our conversations,
No,
but yeah, I'm not going to try to fuck you. I'm really open to how you want to be seen in pictures. And actually, how we got connected is through Ruby Lynn. And I did a really great shot of Ruby Lynn over New Year's. So when I come out in August, I would love to meet you in person and collaborate for
yes,
sure.
please, because
Yeah.
this little relationship is not going to go away. Did you happen to pop on and see the post that I made to you when I said I went through your photo library
Oh, about my raccoon hat. I did get that.
and me and my panda hat?
Yes, I did.
And it's
That's
like,
so
oh my
cute.
God, I have a soul sister
Yes, and I got that actually in Boston. So that is my very, very dorky hat that I think is
because
adorable.
we're so
So
dorky
yeah,
in Boston.
that's right.
All right. So Melissa, I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you a question and I'm going to let you roll with
All
it
right.
because
I
I
can
find,
either say yes, no, or pass. Okay. Yeah.
do you want to play spin the bottle? No, that's not the question.
Do
Totally
that.
not the question.
Truth or dare. We could play truth or
Okay,
dare.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Our fans and our followers are going to like go, wow, we need to see these two more often.
So just so you know, you have 130,000 more followers than me. Just so you know. So it's really your followers, and whatever followers want to come to me, thank you for the crumbs. Thank you for the follows and the likes. I
And
appreciate
that
it.
is exactly that is one of the reasons why I structure this podcast the way I do is because you you're growing in your business in your industry. I'm still growing in my business in my industry, and how can we help each other?
Yeah.
Because this is not about shaming anybody. This is not about,
Yeah.
oh, I wouldn't think of doing that.
Yeah.
This is all about here we are. We want to excel at what we're doing, and how can we help each
Yeah.
other? So I love that. So, any of my followers who are watching this podcast, please go follow Melissa Joy.
Yeah.
I would appreciate it. She'd appreciate it. And I want to be photographer. I want to be photographed by her.
Oh, you definitely and I want to do some filming. I want to do some sexy filming. We're gonna have so much fun. And by the way, I figured out how to put the false eyelashes on, which these are magnetic, because I couldn't
Yes,
do the
I
other
have
kind.
those.
But they're totally new for me, and it feels a little weird because I don't normally wear makeup. But I have to say, when you're like being filmed, you kind of need more makeup. But I
You're,
want to ask you something, Danielle.
yeah, go
How
ahead.
many years have you been, as Danielle on OnlyFans and on Instagram? How many years has it been?
I will. Okay, so right before I turned 65, because I'm 67. So right before I turned 65, I met this person out of nowhere. And the question to me was, they walked up to me and said, "Are you in porn?" And I went, "No." And they went, "You should be." And I was looking at retirement, and I have been an operating nurse for 45 years. And it's like, what do you want to do with the rest of, I
Right.
feel I'm young, I'm vibrant. What do you want to do with the rest of your
Yeah.
life, basically? And I went, I seriously, when I was younger, always felt that I should have been in porn. And the situation never presented itself. It's like, here I am, 65 years old. It's presenting itself. I'm going through that door. So I have been doing this pretty much since, since 3.5, 4 years.
Wow. I
Yeah.
am blown away by your success. And, for someone who's older, I'm 54, and I'm usually the oldest person in the conversation anywhere where everybody's turning towards me for advice. You're like my big sister telling me
I
that
told
like
you.
anything is possible.
Yeah.
And that's amazing that you got started late in life. Similar to me. Like it's funny that I went from a sugar baby in my early 40s to being an escort of, I call it a whore at 44, which is so late in life because I had a huge commercial success actually as a photographer in Boston, ironically. And anyway, it's just funny because I see all these girls on sex work Twitter who are like, oh my God, I've got to retire. I'm heading towards 35. And there was one porn performer that I followed who had the MILF hashtag before I knew what MILF was. And she goes, oh, Mom, I'd like to fuck. And I go, you're a baby. She goes, oh, I'm 28. She's like, once you're past 25, you're a MILF. And I'm like, are you kidding me? First of all, I don't even have kids. I'm the childless MILF. But it's so
Oh
funny that
my.
that's how we're viewed. So I guess I'm a GILF. Like, our friend Ruby Lynn, I'm technically a GILF, but I've never had children. So I was spared, I have a cat. I'm a cat mom.
And
But
I was just going to say to you, I'm really sorry. One of my cats just jumped on. I'm sitting at my island in my kitchen, and one of my cats just jumped up on the island.
nice.
So I was going to say,
Yeah.
and now they're going after a chocolate chip cookie, which is going to hit the floor in
Yeah.
about 2 seconds.
Oh, you got to go get
But
them then. Yeah.
I like you,
Yeah.
no kids.
Okay.
Um, I knew what a MILF was, didn't know what a GILF was. There went the cookie.
Yeah.
Um, I have been very forthcoming with who I am. I have no plastic, no fillers, no Botox, no silicone.
Really?
Whatever I have, whatever you see, the wrinkles, the laugh lines, the whatever, they're there out of 67 years worth of experience. So what you see is what you get, and take it or leave it. And
Fantastic.
obviously, you brought up that I have over 135,000 followers, and that's on one page.
Yeah.
And I have multiple pages.
Yeah.
So there is something out there for everyone, which
Yeah.
is why I wanted to chat with you, because what I do is totally different from what you do.
True. And yes and no that true. So I'm also a sex worker rights advocate, and I see sex work under the umbrella of adult content creators to dominatrixes, which is what I was before this incarnation of me, escorts, sugar babies. We're all under the umbrella of stigma,
Here's a
right?
cat.
We all have that. Um, and then there's what's called the horiarchy. Oh, I'm a stripper. I don't, I'm up here. I don't meet with clients in person. Oh, you do porn and you do boy girl porn. Gross. Like I would never do that, right? There's that whole thing, right?
Mhm.
So we're in that umbrella. And by the way, I have done OnlyFans, and I will say this for someone who's an in-person worker for 10 years, it's fucking hard. I do not like creating content of myself. I like being behind the camera. Um, and it was also strange to message strangers, fans that I can't see and I don't know because I'm used to
Mhm.
seeing people in person. So I got all these tips, but I wanted to talk to people one on one and say, hi, who are you? It's just different, right? It's just a very
It
different
is.
thing. My friends that are older that have been doing in person feel the same. They've tried their hands online doing OnlyFans and it was hard. And we went, and then when the pandemic ended, we ended up going back into in-person work. And for me, it was being a
Thank God.
dominatrix and doing, yeah, my old site was the sensual dom, and they loved that I was older, and my clientele, a lot of them were either older in their 70s, or a lot of them were in their mid 20s that had the auntie fantasy, the mommy's friend
Stepmom.
walked on
Yep.
me looking
Yep.
at porn and I have to like punish them. That's like the big thing. And I think it's adorable actually when you get younger clients. I mean, for the most part, they've been so respectful
And
of me, more respectful.
and I know that we said Dom,
Yeah,
but for anybody out there on either one of our
yeah.
platforms, Dominatrix is what we're
Yeah,
talking about.
dominatrix or femdom. Yeah, because I've been in the dom world for so long. We just say I'm a dom or a pro dom.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was doing. I was basically tying up these young guys and pretending to be a cougar, and then flogging their ass, which was which wasn't a bad way to make a
I was
living. It
just
was
gonna say
actually
that
pretty
felt good.
good. It was pretty good, but I wanted to go back into what I was doing 10 years ago, which is photography, and then writing about my experiences. It was kind of a good time to step away. I have two rental properties that I manage now, so I don't have to be doing sex work so much to make a living, but if I want to go back into it, I will. I have to admit, I have thought about OnlyFans. You've been a big influence on me about this. I think you're so courageous. Can I tell you how courageous you are that you've had no work done? Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, be my guest.
So, being somebody so big on the internet and on OnlyFans, did it hurt your feelings the first time somebody said something negative about your age or your body?
Don't laugh.
Yeah.
No. I I am a firm believer in my life, not just what I'm doing, but in my life, I'm a firm believer of what you think about me means nothing to me. And I have had, and that's one of the questions that I would have asked you a little bit later is about trolls.
Mm,
Because, yeah, are there trolls out there? Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, you're old as dirt. And you have an OnlyFans page. How can you possibly be making any money? You are so old. And I just come back with my bank account, and you would have a disagreement with that. Um,
Yeah.
I,
You
I,
go, girl.
yeah, I don't care. I know who I am. I put it all out there. If I were lying about anything, Melissa,
Yeah.
maybe, but I'm not. I
Mm,
tell everybody who I am, what I do, what I got, what I don't got. You either like it or you don't. And there, you know this from what you do, there's a niche
hmm.
that we fit into, and there are a lot of people who want what we do.
True. That
So
is true.
if you feel better because you're saying something negative about me,
Mm,
okay, have a great day. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. But what
mm,
it does do, and I've started to do recently on posts, when I have a troll, it's
yeah.
like, thank you so much. I appreciate your comment. Keep them coming. Because
Mm.
every time you post something negative about me, there are people who will want to know more about you. That helps my algorithm. That helps my bank account.
Nice. I
So,
love that you put it in context like that because I am still very thin skinned, and just having a Substack writing about my life,
mhm,
I've been writing about coming out and the repercussions of it. And I lost he's actually from Boston, one of my oldest friends when I came out under my real name.
okay.
And his girlfriend contacted me, who was like reading my Substack, and she called me. She got my personal number, and I felt so attacked. And I thought, oh my God, if this can feel attacked, like imagine being on OnlyFans, having 130,000, Instagram followers and the comments and
Mhm.
all of that, that I know that I wish I could take a pill and just have a thick skin. I get angry looking at my friends' trolls that are trolling on them
Mhm.
saying shit, and I just lose it. But I know that's like the thing about getting big on OnlyFans is you need to have a big social media
Mhm.
following. And I've been kind of scared.
And uh, and along with that, an ego that you didn't think you had, you need to have
Yeah.
the strength and the confidence of knowing just you, Melissa. You know who
Mhm.
you are. You're confident with who you are. And I am an educator in my true profession as
Yeah.
a nurse educator.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I give you everything that you need to have because it's evidence based
Hmm.
about what you're doing, you stand on that soapbox and don't let anybody change your mind.
Right.
And you have that confidence in what you do. It's just now that you're starting to put it out in other arenas.
Yeah.
And there is, I'm totally, there are so many people who just love to put their shit out there. It's like,
I know. And I admire all those people that put their shit out there and just don't give a shit, and I'm attracted to those people. I mean, maybe that's why we got like put together that way.
totally.
The universe brought us together because I'm meeting more and more women that are even older than me, which I'm like, again, I've always been the oldest person in the room, where people are talking about retiring at 40, and I'm like, bitch, I didn't get started till I was 44. Right? Like, it's so
Yeah.
funny how people just are like, oh, it's a young woman's game. And I was like, not really.
Mhm.
And I got into it out of what most people do, it is money. Like, my
Mhm.
career as a photographer was waning because the digital revolution kind of took over, and I needed money. I was like making less and less money. And on another note, I was single and I was super curious. So I started out on the sugar arrangement sites because I'm like, here I am fucking, men for free on, OK Cupid, and these things. I'm like, why not get paid for it? And that was
Exactly.
like my little crossover to, becoming the hooker
Hmm.
at some point. It took me my own hierarchy of like, oh, I could never do that. But I was like, Melissa, you're doing it now,
Yeah.
but you're doing it like to have your rent paid and being with this guy that you don't really like
Hmm.
for days on end. So it took me many years to finally graduate from that and go from slut school to becoming a whore at 44, which is probably going to be the name of my book.
All right. So, two
Yeah.
things. Can I be your big sister?
Yes, please. Yes.
Because, oh my God, I think we would be amazing.
Yes.
Two, you are writing a book. And I did a podcast with Ruby Lynn. You mentioned Ruby Lynn as being someone that you admire and look up to. She just wrote a book,
Yes.
and I think it's like her second or her third
Oh,
book.
I didn't know that.
And it's and her book is doing exceptionally well. So my question
Hmm.
would did any was Ruby and her influence in her book important on you writing
So her
yours,
book
or that connection that you had with her?
So her book, I got close with her before her book came out, and her book is called she runs the Granny Panty podcast, and her book, which is on Amazon, I'm going to be a little thing for Ruby Lynn,
Oh,
is How I
she'll
Made a
love that.
Fortune. Yeah, How I Made a Fortune Selling My Panties
Actually,
Online.
Ruby's on.
What's that? She's
Ruby's following us
Oh,
right
she's
now.
following. So
Yeah.
yeah, Ruby. Hey, I'm like gonna talk about your book. So yeah, she wrote a book about that. I've never done that before. The people that I've been following mostly are sex workers who did escort work, who then wrote a book about it. Or there is a book I just read. Do you know who Maitland Ward is? Maitland Ward.
I don't.
So she used to be on a show called Boy Meets World 20 years ago. She also got dried up out of acting somewhat, like the roles started drying up.
Mhm.
She is, I think, around 50 years old now and is huge in porn. And she was really shunned. Of course, once you cross over doing porn, there's no going back to doing, vanilla acting. And she
Mainstream.
talks about in her book going to the AVN Awards and people snubbing her. And the reason being is that people in, we're talking the big adult industry, the porn industry, that, people who are really well known
Mhm.
don't trust regular people who are not in porn, right? Because they're worried they're going to be shamed and they've been snubbed.
Yeah.
So I loved her perspective writing about this. She is totally leaned in to being a sex worker. I think she's 50 something right now. But
Mhm.
yeah, she was, I mean, they dragged her through the mud when she started working, doing porn. I forget, maybe 10 years ago in her, in her 40s. It's a great book called I can't remember the name, but just look up Maitland. Is her name Maitland Ward?
Maitland.
Yep,
Maitland.
Maitland
Okay.
Ward,
Yeah.
and it's all about how she got into porn like later in life, and I love those stories.
And this is a perfect lead into that because I just said this morning, I just finished my last book. I'm looking for a book to read. So this is the one I'm going to get.
Yes, it is really
Yeah.
interesting because she doesn't name names of really big actors who actually kind of abused her on the set,
Can you figure
but she just
it out though?
emphasizes she has been treated so much better on the set in porn sets, with consent and everything than she ever did on Boy Meets World or any of the other shows that she's been on. She's been on soaps and like other things. So it's just really cool. Yeah.
I love
So
that because I did another podcast earlier today with my first male interview, and hearing from the male perspective of this industry and what we do, and we're doing
mhm,
it at this stage of our lives.
right.
And he kept coming back to, um, he doesn't always relate with the people that he's in a scene with. He goes, but my job is to make that person look good,
Hmm.
and it's my job to keep them safe. And
Yeah.
it's like, I was totally blown away with the fact that I hope they all feel that way, and they probably don't.
Mhm.
But he goes, I've had people who I don't relate with, and they have been big in the industry. And it's just, we didn't have a personal connection, but it's the job, and you have to make the job come across.
Yeah.
And it's my job to make sure that you look good and you're safe. And it's
Yeah.
like, and to stand up for, he was commenting about one of the shoots that he was on where the director or the producer went, we're throwing in anal, we want anal. And the actress goes, no, wasn't in the contract,
Bingo.
I'm not doing, yeah,
That's right.
not in the
A lot more for
contract, I'm not
anal.
doing that. And I'm one of the first people to say there might be things within my sexual self I won't do, but if you're paying me for it, I will, but I need to know it. And he said, once they came across with the anal piece, and she said, no, not in the contract. And he said, I stood up and went, not doing it.
Mm,
This
yeah.
is about her.
Yeah.
She doesn't want it. She's not going to leave the set feeling that she had been abused or used. And it's like, I don't know how many of you there are out there. That's huge for an actress to
Yeah.
feel, for
For sure.
sure.
And I can tell you too, as a former dominatrix, my specialty was pegging. And for you vanilla folks, you even made that. Oh, you don't
I
know what
did.
pegging is.
Give me
What?
this.
Oh, you don't know what pegging
You're going
pegging
to
is.
tell me,
So
and I'm going to go, oh, yeah, I
so
know what that
oh,
is,
so
or
to
I'm
all the
going to know it by
vanilla,
another word.
all your vanilla watchers out there. So pegging is typically where a woman or someone with a vagina wears what's called a strap-on harness, where I can put a dildo, right? So I now have a fake penis, I have a dildo, and I do anal to you. And that is 9 times out of 10 of my clients, men. Although I had one woman client, and the great thing about my strap on is I could fuck her up the ass and I could fuck her in the pussy, but the order went pussy and then ass, because you
And
know
not
never to
back.
go the other way around.
Yeah.
But she was rare. She was my only cisgendered female client ever in 10 years that I had. But for the most part, it was men, and they came for the fantasy. I think for one, they wanted to see what it was like to surrender control. It's a big thing of surrendering, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm the one behind
In
you,
charge.
and I'm
Yeah.
listening to you. If you can take my cock, how much you can take of it. It's really funny because I get to see what it's like to be a man. I have thrown my back out actually pegging guys, because it is hard depending on the position you're in.
Mhm.
It is not easy to do for long periods. I've gotten guys down on the floor. It's easier if they're on your knees and they're like backing into me. It's so funny, like having the roles reversed. And so many times I'll be like wanting to bang them like in porn, hard, grabbing their hips, and they're like, mistress, slow down, not so deep. And I was like, now you know what
Don't.
it's like, bitch. Now you know what it's
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
All right. So here's a question on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Was there any sexual awareness for you on that, on when you were doing that to men?
Oh yeah.
Did
I
Was
mean,
there
the big,
anything
yeah.
that you got out of it other than the
Yeah.
fact that,
Yeah,
yeah.
the big, well, first of all, when you first met, you brought up anal, right, in your porn thing. So anal on for both men and women is, there's preparation, as you know, before you ever do an anal scene or you put anything up your ass. So before, people would come to me and I'd have to say, are you interested in strap-on play? If yes, you do need to clean your ass out before you come here, especially if you want to take something big. Now, does shit happen? Absolutely. I just don't want to have to deal with it. I had baby wipes and all that, but nobody likes to deal with that. It's not sexy during a scene. Just like in porn. That's why they really clean themselves out for that. But the big thing that I realized in that is that men
Days of
wanted to,
enemas.
yeah, men really wanted to see what it's like to be vulnerable, to be passive, to right, to just be there where I have often like had them tied up, where it's a little bit of a rape fantasy, but it's more of just like consent, non-consent, and to fantasy too, often where they're attracted to men but they can't admit it. So when I'm behind them, I can be Jim, or whoever they want to be. I can be
Do you
like their
change your
boss. I
voice,
can be their
Melissa?
boss at work, and I can find out his name and be like, "You're gonna get it from Tom for like being late or whatever." And they love that. They love that. But I will admit that,
I have to tell you, I
yeah,
don't know if you saw it, but we just got a comment that
yeah.
went, ladies, in capital letters.
Is that a good thing,
Like,
ladies? What is that like?
ladies are having fun.
Yeah, we're having fun. We're
Yeah.
having fun.
So
But
did you
yeah.
ever did you this is such a weird question. Did you ever like deepen your voice?
Um, Not really like to be a man, but as my
But to show
character, and this is what I,
power.
yeah, as my character, right? And I'm like this, like sort of Mrs. Robinson, who's a sadist,
Here's
So
to
say no,
you,
masochist. Wait,
Mrs.
so
Robinson.
so my thing was more like, "Hello, Benjamin. Why don't you sit down? That's right. I'm going to fuck the shit out of you. That's right. That's Mistress M." That was my, but for me, that wasn't really me. I have a whole, like, I'm funny. And actually, when they'd be tied down to my table and I was whipping their ass, I would be cracking jokes, like while I was sort of cracking the whip, and they would be half laughing and half groaning. And I think that's why they liked me, as I was very
Yeah.
real with them. But
Oh my God.
they love the fantasy. And they would never say their stepmom, but it was often like, oh, my mom's friend or my auntie. But a lot of it was, I think, repressed. They were attracted to men, but could never admit it. Like one guy, and ironically, he's in Boston, Danielle. I have one client that I see once a year when I'm back seeing my family. His whole thing, his fantasy is that I am his stepmom, even though he's like older than me. It's funny, I'm his stepmom, and I've caught him watching gay porn. And do you know how I punish him, Danielle?
Tell me.
Well, I put on my strap on and I make him suck my cock the whole time. And he just gets off on that, on sucking my
My God.
cock. And I'm like, and I just play like the asshole guy, like, suck it harder, bitch. I do this whole thing and he loves it. That's his thing. But I
Things that
know,
things that we have heard
yeah,
said to us,
that's right. But
and
what's
you
funny
just get to
is,
whip it all around.
but it's so funny, he's married, he's never played with a dude, but I know that that's his fantasy. But it's so taboo for him to go there that it has to be like, oh, I'm watching a gay porn and you're gonna punish me with your dick. And I'm like, interesting. So I should say my whole background too. My family's in the field of psychotherapy, so I'm always like analyzing people and their fantasies of why they have the kink that they do, why they come to me. Yeah.
Okay, so one of my bachelor's is in psychology.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's like it is so useful in this profession. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah, because we
you
are
have
naked.
got
I
to.
joke that we are all naked therapists. It's so, to me anyway, when I was an escort, it was so little about sex and more that people wanted an outlet to share their kinks, to share their worries, to talk about the fact that their wife won't fuck them anymore, and they just need touch and they need connection. Like coming out as an escort where people are like, "Oh, what's the craziest sex thing you ever did?" And I'm like, it's not what I did. It's like the people that I've met and what we talked about.
Mhm.
That's what's been amazing for me. The sex is so little. And
And
I think that's why I have a hard time with OnlyFans is like what I want to ask you, Danielle. Can I turn the tables and ask
yeah,
you a
go ahead.
question?
Yeah.
So I don't know you really well. Like I just met you and I don't know you. Don't know if I really know you. When you are Danielle on OnlyFans, are you still you or do you have like more of a persona? Like,
Okay, so I am always me,
yeah,
no matter
like
what
your
I do.
full self?
However,
Yeah.
however, I'm going to relate it back to what you did when you
Yes.
were a dom.
Yes.
Is once I have made a connection with one of my fans.
Okay.
I have fans who just want to like click on a video that I'm posting that day
Right.
and view it. And then I have those fans who they want to talk to me. They want me to role play. They want me to do custom videos for them. And those are the ones that um, I definitely relate to. I love doing customs. I absolutely love doing my customs. And whatever it is that you ask for, I will give you 100% of what I've got. And so, in that respect, I have people who don't want anything like that. They just want to come on and view my explicit content because
Right.
OnlyFans is the only place that I post
Right.
my explicit content. But if there's a request, if there is a fetish, if there's, I can't tell you how many pairs of my panties I've sold. And I have
Because of
sold
Ruby's
them.
book. Ruby's book helped you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Yes.
like, okay, so you want to buy my panties? Great. Do you want them not worn? Do you want them worn? Do you want them post sex? What do you
Mm-hmm.
want? Because the price is going to change. And so they tell me what they want. They get what they want and what they pay for 100% of the time. So I am always me, because I go back to my real life and things that I've heard my entire life. And it's like there's
Mm-hmm.
no defense for the truth. And
Mm.
I'm truthful about everything I do. So nobody's going to come back on me,
Yeah.
is where I come from.
That's amazing. I want to get there. I feel like in a way when I was a dominatrix and it just sort of my persona just sort of happened that I was like the femme fatale and it like guys like that.
And you are
But
so
I am
freaking cute.
oh, thank you. But I'm a total dork. That's the thing. Like if
They
I
don't
can
know
figure
that.
out how to do like the milfy dork next door, like I'm super dorky, I'm super smart. I like puns, I like bad jokes, but I can't be fake. Like the whole thing about, just the whole persona thing for me was just it was exhausting. Like acting. It was
Yep.
acting all the time.
And that's the really good, what I find is the really good part about this is that you tell people who you are and what you'll do. And I
Mm,
promise there is a niche for that. I have found that I, I didn't even know, and I thought I was pretty well versed.
yeah.
Um, but it is definitely something that if you're not going to feel comfortable doing, that's going to come across
Yes.
that you're
Yeah.
faking, and you
Yes.
don't want to do that.
Yeah. Can I ask you, when you started your OnlyFans, your, online persona and work,
Yeah.
um, did you start out like some people who start an OnlyFans start out just doing like nudes and then they do more explicit, or did you go right into explicit?
The latter. I went,
Really?
I
Wow.
went, I
You
went
went in, yeah, you went into the deep end right
full
away.
bore. Mhm.
That's amazing.
Nosedive in. I know what I like,
Yeah.
and I just happen to have a photographer who is exceptionally good at listening and
Mm,
doing and helping. And it was like, we're doing the deep dive. There were a lot of what I'm doing currently
mm-hmm.
has come out of that, but I just went deep.
Wow. Did you, if I can ask, did
Yeah.
you, when you said you dove deep right away, were you doing boy girl content right away, or were you doing others? You were doing it right away. Wow.
Mhm.
Can I ask, where did you find partners?
Well,
May I
you
ask?
can you can of course you
Yeah.
can ask.
Yeah.
You can find them anywhere, because once you're doing this, and you will learn if you haven't already, there are so many people who want to do content with you.
Yes.
And it's like, thank you, get in line.
Yeah.
I am blessed, and I'm going to do this. It's Easter weekend. I am blessed with a 34-year-old extremely handsome photographer who we are the best of friends.
Hmm.
And I trust him. And what you see in my content is him.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
now I need to get a subscription to your OnlyFans just so I can watch you with him
Yeah.
for sure. Oh
He
my God.
is, he's, when we met, he was 32. Um, and I always joked about, when am I ever going to be just half your age? But he's my best friend. I trust him. He's always got my back. If there's anything going on, he makes sure that I'm safe.
Really?
We're not going to meet X, Y, or Z, and this is X, Y, Y.
Yeah.
But he is the majority of my content.
Did
And
was was he a fan and then approached you? Like, is that how you connected, or a different
no,
way?
he's the one that walked out of a crowd and said, "Are you in porn?
Really?
Because you
Just like
should be."
that? Wow.
Yep.
Now I got
Yeah.
to ask you I got to ask you a more, like, you could always say, fuck off,
Yeah,
Melissa.
go on.
Did you have a relationship with him? I mean, when I say relationship, romantic.
We have not.
Okay.
We have not.
Well, it sounds like he was like attracted to you that
And
way. And I don't know
yep,
if you would go out with a man that's half your age, but I'm super curious.
well, it was like, I love being a cougar. Totally. I have 19-year-olds, and I go, yeah, way too young. When he told me his age, and I kind of like stepped back, and his first words out of his mouth, hear me out. And it's
Hmm.
like, okay, stop prejudging, stop overthinking, and listen. And sometimes I don't do that well. So when I started listening, made sense. There's so many things about the two of us that I know that he will always be there for me.
Mm.
And we just had that connection. We don't have a romantic connection,
Hmm.
even though in a lot of our videos, you will hear him say that he loves me.
Oh,
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. He does. It's it's not that
okay.
romantic type of love.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
really sweet though that you have that. I'm really
I'm
happy for you.
very appreciative of
Yeah.
it.
So you totally give me inspiration. Like, I can't believe that. You know, by the way, everybody, this is my very first time being live and on a video. I've been on one other podcast about coming out as a sex worker. So this was pretty scary for me doing this. And it's weird to be exposed to so many people at once. I know.
And
If I'm
you
going to
have,
be big, you have to get used to
yeah,
it, right?
and you have totally nailed it. Because I don't know if you can see on your side, but I can see
Yep.
the comments from my followers on my side, and they are like, "You two are so cute, sexy, love it. You're gonna kill it, and we're gonna work
Oh,
together."
totally. I can't wait. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I will definitely be back in Boston first week of August, and I definitely want to shoot you, but in the best way. Not in the mean way, in like the
I'll try to
perfect
find my
way.
good sides.
And I'd even love to meet your boy toy, and it would be so much fun to do pictures of the two of you.
Yeah.
More on the sensual, so not on the real explicit,
Yeah.
but I've never shot couples before, meaning like not being explicit, but just being really intimate and sensual with each other. I would
Mhm.
love to do that with you, with him, with you, with anything. I just think it would be great. But I also just want to go out and have cocktails with you. I want to take you to my favorite bar in Cambridge,
Which
and we're gonna
one?
like. So the one, so in Harvard, it's the one that's next to Cafe Algiers. Do you know the place I'm talking about? Damn it.
You're in Cambridge?
You know, in Cambridge and Harvard Square, right
Mhm.
next to Cafe Algiers, there is this great bar, and I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's in Harvard Square. If anybody's like listening, it's in Cambridge, Mass, and it's one of my favorite places to meet my, Boston is kind of my East Coast
Yeah.
town, and it's where I go and meet my friends and
And it's a
family
great place.
when I
So
come
we'll
home.
take you down, we'll take you into the harbor.
Yes. Okay. I would love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So you and I we're gonna have more conversations after this podcast for sure.
Yeah.
And I would love when you get here in August that's part of your agenda while you're
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Because I'm Xing days off for you, Melissa.
Okay. All right, for sure. First week. In fact, we're actually getting there early because my partner got us tickets to Def Leppard and Journey are playing at Fenway Park the first week of
I
August. So I'm
know.
like, yes, and we got like expensive tickets. I don't know how much they
Good
were.
girl.
All I know, my partner's like, they were a lot. We're getting there a week early. We're gonna go. Actually seen them already twice in Portland, but like Fenway Park, are you kidding?
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah.
like super excited
I
about
have
that.
Bon Jovi tickets.
Oh, right. Where?
I have Bon Jovi at they're doing Gillette,
Nice.
and I have Madison Square Garden.
Oh my God, that is great.
Yeah.
Wait, now I got to ask you more questions, though. I don't know if we're at, does
You're
live
good. Go
end
ahead.
at some point? Does it have a
No,
limit?
you're good.
Oh, okay. Okay. So can I ask when when you're on OnlyFans, what would you say your number one thing that people ask you for, like in fetish or content or whatever? And is there like a fetish thing about like a fantasy?
Okay. Yes and yes. The thing that I probably get requested the most is for solo play and being somebody's stepmom. They want a dad and me to be the stepmom, and the
Mhm.
dad goes out and then they come in. So I get that a lot of solo play. They just want to see me. Um, a lot of requests to squirt. It's like not everybody can do that, so they will ask, "Can you squirt?" And it's like,
You
"Yeah,
can
I
squirt.
can.
Wait, you can squirt like on command? Like, I mean, do you do it every time consistently?
I, I can.
Wow. I'm impressed. That's amazing.
I can."
Wow.
And
Wow.
my one of my best videos is when it comes out and it hits the camera. It's like all the
Wow.
camera's like, "Bye."
Wow.
So I get that a lot. Feet. A lot of
Yeah.
people just they want to see my feet, my soles of my feet, or they like the nails. What? Oh, my voice. Yeah, I just was reminded. I have so many of my fans that want to video chat with me.
Yeah.
They just want to video chat with me because they want to hear my voice.
Oh,
Um, it's my eyes or my voice.
okay. Your
Yeah,
eyes in what way? You mean in the video they want to see your like
they
your eyes and
yeah they apparently to the viewer,
yeah.
I have eyes with expression.
Oh.
They're blue, they're very blue. And they want to
Mm.
hear me talk. And it's all I have to do is talk to them. So many people will come just hearing me talk to them.
Wow. That's it's beautiful that you can just be yourself
Yeah,
and people love that. But it is so funny, the whole stepmom thing. Like who knew?
totally
And
right.
it's so funny that I lied about, do you know how many years I lied about my age? Being an escort in that world, everyone who was in their 40s, to be considered mature, the mature category on Arrow's Guide was 35 plus. So even though I started at 44, I was 35 forever on that site because the fear was once you went beyond that, you were out in the field alone. Nobody wanted you.
Yeah.
And then when as I got older and I left escorting and I became a pro dom, a dominatrix, and I leaned into my age, again, the Mrs. Robinson, the bad older bitch. Um, People loved it. And again, for the most part, my clients were better, especially the younger
Mm.
ones. The ones in their 20s were just fantastic. Um,
See, and
anyway, that it's a
that's what
different
I
thing. I
want to
know
learn
it's,
more
yeah.
from. I want to learn more from you about
Yeah.
is the fact that there I get asked a lot if I want to dominate someone or am I a submissive?
Mm,
I'm there might be situations where I feel that I am submissive. I
mm,
don't feel that I'm a dominatrix, but there are people who and I get where they're coming from as far as your following is concerned. Because if you look at
yeah.
profiles,
Yeah.
that's one of the things that they check. And it's like, I'm not really one of those that go, you need to do this.
Right. No, and I'm not either, but I think when I have younger clients, and this is people that I'm seeing in person, it's hard. This is what I don't like about online, about being online is I have a hard time reading texts and messages to hear the tone. So if you are being kind of disrespectful or being demanding of me, my tone naturally goes dominant. So in person, it's a lot easier. And that's the nice thing about being a Dom, is that I can turn it up and on like when I need it. So when I have had what I call bratty bottoms come to me who say, I want you to do this, and I want you to do this, and I want it to be like this. No, not like that. And I just say, who the fuck is in charge right now, little boy? Right? Then I can turn it on
Mhm.
and be like, be that character, but that's not really who I am. I will say, hey, this is mutual, this session, you can obviously say your safe word if you're feeling uncomfortable, but you have to let go at some point. You have
Mhm.
to like, let me kind of run the thing, or I'm going to feel resentful that you're sort of running the ship when I am a Dom, that you're coming to me. And even as a Dom,
You
when I
paid
had
to be
my,
here
yeah,
for what
even
I
my
do.
OnlyFans, I
Yeah.
had people saying, I want X, Y, and Z. And and you start to feel like a waitress. And I'm like, well, I don't really feel like doing that. This
Yeah.
is what appeals to me more. And if you don't like that, you can
Mhm.
go elsewhere. But yeah,
And here's me when that happens. You call it turning your
yeah.
dom on. It's my bitch switch.
Bingo. And for me, becoming a Dom was leaning into my inner bitch. So when people call me a bitch whore or whatever they want to call me, I go, yeah, that's right. Thank you. I charge for that. Thank you. Right? You just step into that. And being our age, we're like, yeah, we've earned that title. Right? It is funny when I see younger Doms in their 20s, and I was like, I'm half like rolling my eyes. I was like, you just have less life experience than us. Like, we can be dominant. We are like moms. We've
Mhm.
taken care of people. We've seen more. We've owned houses. We just have more of experience in general, often than our clients do. Yeah.
Exactly. And you're 47.
No, I'm 54.
Oh, okay.
I
You're
start. I
54.
started
So
out. I started out
I'm
at,
like
at
13 years
44.
older than
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Trust me, when you hit 60, you're out of give a fucks.
Oh, I hope so, because
I
I
don't
still
give a
have a
fuck.
few more
Yeah.
that I have to
Like,
let go of.
yeah.
But I'll tell you, I have a lot of friends that are approaching 60 that are escorts. They're not OnlyFans people, and they're terrified because putting 60 on a profile for a lot of men are like, it's like for them it's hard enough putting that they're 50 on there. It's hard.
And I
It's
get that,
hard. Yeah.
but I I promise you, you put your age on there,
Yeah.
and if you lose fans or followers or escorts,
Yeah.
you're gonna gain so many more.
Yeah.
So
Well,
many more. And they are also have had their own careers, have their own income, have their own identity, and are extremely generous. I was in Spain last August, and I was scrolling through and on OnlyFans, and I really wasn't going to pay any attention to it because I was on vacation.
right.
And one of my followers, one of my fans, sent me $250 because I was on vacation. And it's like, um, why? It's like, you're on vacation, have a good time.
Wow.
Okay.
You have some good
Um,
fans. All right.
yeah. And
Danielle,
so
Danielle's
if you
fans are
lose,
awesome. You
yeah,
have to
so if
say.
you
Yeah.
if you lose
Yeah.
some, it's
Yeah.
okay. No,
Yeah.
you're gonna gain more.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can I ask you another? I have so many questions. So I know
It's okay, go ahead.
you don't have
Yeah,
kids, so it's easier, I think, in a way to be doing what you're doing and showing
for
your face and being out and
sure.
open. But
Yeah.
I know you've got relatives, you've got friends, you've got people have been surprised or found out or yet.
I I will say that for the majority of my immediate family, they
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing. They're clueless. And I've not shared. There's been no reason to. However, my personal my online Facebook
Yeah.
was hijacked. It
Mm.
wasn't hacked. It was hijacked. So someone got into
Yeah.
somewhere in the dark web, got into all of my photographs into my photo album and was sending out, oh, you might like to connect with this person on my personal Facebook page.
Okay.
So my first cousin, who I adore, we are great
Yeah.
friends, calls me and says her boyfriend
Yeah.
had this picture pop up that said, you might know her.
Right.
And she goes, it's totally you. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes, really?
Yeah.
All right. So it was months that I was in contact with Meta,
Yeah.
and it's like, this is my personal photo album.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, it's from like Nigeria or
Right.
wherever. There's nothing that we're going to be able to do with that. So all of my Facebook had to come down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in that respect, that person doesn't know, other than the fact that I go back and go, look, I was hijacked. Yes, are those pictures me? They
Yes.
are. They're in my house. You've been in my house. You know that it's me.
Right.
Those pictures were meant for someone, but somebody else came in, stole
Got
them,
it.
and
Okay.
started doing all of this with.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah. Well, and on that note too, for people who do have, say, a personal account and a sex worker account, that Meta, if they're listening, are terrible. So you should always have, if you are a sex
double
worker
tweeters.
listening, you should always have two email addresses. Do not log in, never match them. I am always shocked on my Melissa Joy Dates Instagram, which is not connected to my Facebook, which is where my family is, that when I've logged in, it knows about my Facebook account. It goes, do you want to post this to this? And I'm like, holy
No.
shit, no. Because that means that my auntie might go, you might know Melissa Joy Dates. And I was like, I don't want my auntie knowing about Melissa Joy Dates. I mean, she's
Right?
going to know at the reunion, but I don't want that. But that's what fucking Meta
Mhm.
does. They're anyway.
Yeah.
And I could go on and on. It's sort of funny that we're on Instagram and I have such a beef with them. Not that I love Twitter, aka X, because of who's running it now. And he's a hypocrite about, censorship, that he was like, oh, I'm gonna buy this thing, for $54 billion and I'm gonna be the free speech guy. And then he walks out butthurt in an interview with Don Lemon, right?
Yeah.
Right. But
Saw it.
it's
Yeah.
funny that, like, I cannot stand Meta, that my friends are all getting deplatformed. And by the way, you horny guys watching this, it's why we censor our words. Like sex is segs, SEGGS, and these stupid things. And we have
Yep.
to cover our nipples and all this.
Misspelled. Yep.
And there are people like Kim Kardashian and famous people who can get away with like the hand bra, but people like you and I, if we do a shot, not, like that, we could be banned. And
Mhm.
yes, my dominatrix account was banned. It took me a year and a half to swallow my pride and say, fine, I will rebuild in this, community that hates me. But it's hard to get over that, to be in a place where you feel it's so fucking hostile
It is. And
towards
how
us.
much work that we put into these. My, I, I could still cry about it today.
I know.
My main page, my jumping off main
Yeah.
page was Classy Mom Danny.
Yeah.
I had over 500,000 followers.
Oh, shit.
And IG decided they had a hair across their ass for some reason, deleted my account. And it's like, I literally was down here on the couch and I was in tears. It's like, what did I do? They're not telling me
Right.
what I did. They're not telling me what infraction there was so I could correct it. No,
That's
no.
right.
They just took it down. And it's like, it took me 2.5 years to get those
Yeah.
followers.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what I did wrong.
Right.
And
Did
they
you
don't tell.
by the way, did you try to get it back? You know that there are ways to do it. And I tried the same. And
Appeal.
some people do,
Mhm.
some people do get their accounts back. It might take months
Yeah.
So don't give up hope. I don't know
I've
when you
gotten
lost
back
it.
smaller. I've gotten back smaller pages. I've never gotten back that one.
That sucks. That makes me
It's
so mad.
totally,
And yet
totally.
this is what we've got, right? This is the community we're
Yep.
in, and we have to just accept it. So I
Mhm.
think that's also why I'm like, I take Instagram with a grain of salt. Like, if I get followers, great, but I lost all my followers too. And like, it was just like, it feels like somebody's burned down your house after you've spent all this. People don't realize how much
To
time and effort it is
build
just to
it.
build up a
Yeah.
social media following,
Yeah.
so
And
I so
like you said, you weren't feeling good today. You
yeah,
woke up this morning, you weren't feeling so hot, but you hopped on this podcast with me. It's like
yeah,
I don't wake up every day feeling like, yeah, I'm great. I feel good. Let's do this. But you still do it. And
yeah.
when somebody takes it away from you and you have no idea why, there's no recourse. That's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I know why. I'm like I said, I'm a sex worker rights activist, and I won't bore people with it. But the short answer is, Zuck can't stand hot women making money. That's really what it is. Men can't stand women making money.
Mhm.
They just can't, and they have to take it down. It's like it's so funny that men can show their nipples. And I'll even see even male sex workers. I know gay male sex workers that show their bare ass. The rule I've heard on Insta is you have to look like you're wearing a thong if you show your ass. You have to look like you're wearing underwear. And this guy was showing his ass left and right. And I didn't report him, but I was like, look at this fucking double standard. And this guy
Because it's a
had,
guy.
500,000 followers, and he was a huge gay porn star. And I was like, yeah, they could give a shit that it's a guy. That's all I
Mhm.
can think of is like, why is it that nobody's reporting him? But like anybody, there was a woman on TikTok who's also another like MILF star, and I can't remember her name. She was on TikTok. She wore a turtleneck because she had gotten a warning. She wore a turtleneck, but she put a bra to be cute. She put her bra like on the outside of her turtleneck, and she did a dance. She got immediately banned, and she lost all her followers and had to start over because she had a bra on the outside. But it really wasn't that. It was they're like, oh, we know you're an adult content creator, so we're going to make life hell for you, and we're going to
Mhm.
just take you down. And anyway, I'm on my
Mhm.
soapbox now of like
No, it's
how
great.
mad
I
how
love
mad
it.
I get about this stuff. And I us older women, we just have to keep rising up. And you're right. I can't wait until I turn 60 and I have absolutely no fucks to give. I
No
still have a
give,
little bit.
no give a fucks. Exactly. All right, Melissa,
Yeah.
you have been amazing. So any trepidation you had about doing this, the next time I go, Melissa, can we hop on because people need to do a little follow up with us?
Okay.
You're going to be great.
Yeah.
I so look forward to August and you being back here, and I will connect with you off platform
Totally.
and we'll keep this going. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye.
Love
So good
you.
seeing you. All right.
Bye.
Bye.